The Rogues were not stealthy enough, and the Renegades managed to get it done on Dust 2, but it did start to look a little bit dire for them there. It was a bit awkward at times as well. 7 for 7 trading, just like, okay, let's just let it go back and forth a bit. After 11-4 lead, you thought Renegades would be able to close it out quite convincingly, but they were able to at least battle back there.
Yeah, and Rogue showing that they have fight in them for sure.
Yeah.
All off of a pistol round that got a little awkward. It was JKS pushing in the tunnels, managing to get a kill on the guy that had the bomb. And there was, I think it was a 4-3 situation, but the Vice, did I say device? I meant Vice. Not device, but Vice. Managed to creep in through B, get 2 crucial flying kills, and eventually that gave Rogue the round. And that's where the run started going through for them. And yeah, it felt a little weird at times. For some reason, Rogue managing to get a lot of early kills. It was Renegades trying to force a play, do something cheeky. It's very common for Shake to side Dust too. You try to make a push on CAD. Sometimes you try to take a peek in middle. But if you can't make those work, then obviously, you know, you're going to start losing rounds. But it's something that you kind of have to go for, and you can't blame Renegades for doing that.
No, not at all, and that's the thing, right? Renegades, they took a bit of time, and yeah, this is what you're talking about from Vice, right? Yeah,
exactly. A crucial one right there, and that's where the run started going through. Yeah, I mean, the big picture, if you look at the stats, Vice, again, showcasing...
Looking good.
Yeah, looking really good. But he was a highlight of the team for this one. On the other hand, you look at Renegades, and it was actually quite spread around. Jakim was the one that had the biggest KD, but and also he was a part of a lot of the crucial rounds that really turned it around. And
yeah,
funny enough, it was a scrappy bide that actually got Renegades into it. At the point in time when this was 11-11, and that 7 rounds first, like you said, 7 rounds first of all for Renegades in a row, then 7 rounds for Rogue in a row, and then yeah, Jakim and the boys come in, they win a scrappy round, and eventually run away with it.
Now, we said this right at the beginning. We said we expected this to be close. We saw that these two teams could be quite a good matchup coming into this, but my thing here was Dust 2, I thought, would be the most chance that we'd see Rogue to be able to play into. Going into Mirage and coming off the back of a loss like that, I'm really thinking Renegades to go for another straight 2-0 here.
Yeah, they've had a strong season start for sure. There were points in this match where you could see probably the lack of like finesse that they still have because it's a brand new lineup. There were moments where players like Liaz, for example, were maybe overextending their stay at points in time. For example, on Long, he was trying to play really, really smart in smokes, gets taken away, gives a massive opportunity for Rogue. We saw Renegades play Mirage earlier, right? And we thought, since it's been a map that they've steered away from, what are we going to be expecting from them? Well, a lot of defaults, a lot of take cover middle and see what happens out of that. But it can work in this map. You know, it doesn't need a lot of well-planned or pre-planned executes for you to make Mirage work, and they showcased that last night. So yeah, more of that would be in order, because Rogue is not a team that's played Mirage all too often either. So I feel like there's definitely a chance for a 2-0 here for Renegades.
Well, this is the thing, right? We're just talking about the results of Rogue on Mirage. See, now even I'm going backwards on this. Their actual result-wise is a bit flip and flopper, because they had a 19-16 against Complexity, and then they also then lost like 16-6 to Complexity. The same map, not too big a difference, both in the American minors when they were trying to travel their way through it. And Complexity, obviously, they had a very good run across the whole of the major, let's be honest, stuff that people did not expect. So when it comes to this, I feel like there's more also for the Renegades lineup to look at, and how Rogue played us too, despite only changing one player out there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the key components for a map like Mirage is definitely opping, and I feel Grady's faction, again, had a solid game on Dust 2. If you can get that onto Mirage as well, that's definitely going to help a lot. But again, it's going to be a matter of Rogue having to weigh their options, because the fact is that, yeah, Renegades is not going to have a lot of executes to fall back on, and they're really good at just taking middle and taking fights. They have the skill for that, and then if they do create 5-on-4 situations, for example, yes, they will take advantage of that. But if I was Rogue at this point in time, maybe I'd bunker the bomb sides, actually force Renegade to try to make plays, because that could be potentially the situation where things might start going south and Rogue might have the upper hand, because if you go for straight on fights with them, I feel like Renegades are the one with the upper hand.
Well, it definitely did seem like that, but we do have, talking about Rogue, a clip from Hiko that we get to take a little look at here, because this is a man who we've been looking to see come back into his game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the kind of composer experience coming into play. You saw him try to tap away with a Galil Doesn't connect. Galil can be a bit of a tricky weapon, but look at this. With the clock, he is taking exactly the right amount of time between the shots he's taking just to make sure that accuracy is 100% for Glock shots. You see a lot of players, you know, come into that, and they would be spamming the Glock, and the
like it's so easy to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. The chances of hitting those bullets would have gone down the toilet. So yeah, it just came down the wire as well. The bomb was just about to be defused. So had he been any slower, I think the bomb would have been defused.
And just how many times do we see it, right? When it gets that, if they spend all their AK bullets, when in Hiko's case, just then the Galil, they put out the pistol and they just frantically spray around. That was just controlled, and it's what we expect from Hiko, right? This is a guy who's been there at the very top level. It's nice to see him kind of still able to just show his kind of overall skill.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a clutch player, always been the guy you can rely on in those kind of moments. Obviously, that's something we've definitely seen the last couple of years, maybe as much. But if you go a little bit further down the memory lane, then yeah, there's a lot of moments where Hiko has been the man of the hour, just winning these rounds where his intuition has been on point.
Now, one of the things I certainly wanted to look at here was just for the whole Mirage side of things is, what would you say needs to be the main thing that Rogue bring to the table to try and bounce back here and claim this map? Because certainly from what we were saying, it's looking like it's a Renegades favored, at least if we look statistically at it.
Yeah, like we said, you know, Mirage is not a map that Rogue really plays all too often. Last time was, it's all you have to go all the way back in July when they had that 2 maps against Complexity.
Yeah.
But like I said, if they've gone through and watched what Renegades did yesterday, you know, it relied a lot on just basic fundamental things, a lot of mid control, just basic execute, especially a bomb site, and them being given a lot of the duels early rounds. So, you know, if I'm Rogue, maybe I just try to, again, play passively, try to bunker the bomb site, and kind of let them maybe even have the connector control, double stack a slope, and try to isolate the possible attacks that are coming from just certain angles instead of getting attacked from Palace and a slope and connector, for example, simultaneously. So try to isolate them.
Well, Scrawny and Lornas are joining us back into this. What do you think so far about what you've seen from Crystal, at least what he's been able to do with this?
You know, I can't remember too many times I would like call him out when we were commentating.
No.
That's usually the tell for us. It's a really big blur of frags, right? But maybe a couple of times. So I don't know. I didn't see like insane impact from him. But I don't know about the calling itself.
Again, it's one of those moments where I think Crystal's biggest impacts may be unobservable. You'd have to either hear what he's doing, because he's not going to be contributing in terms of frags. If he's trying to be the frag heavy player there, then it's not his job at all. And again, like you think of his you know, most recent stint with Ghost. I think that what he offered there again was untangible. You can't really necessarily see it. So I'm not going to criticize him. I think he's slotting in nicely, and I think Rogue are doing an all right job. But Renegades just definitely turned up in that second half on Dust.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if he can bring what they need into Mirage. Guys, one last time today, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Launders, I'm excited. We're back. And this is the last map. But it's going to be a fast one, so it seems. Look at them go. Already charging out onto this A-bomb site. The Betway odds clearly indicating Renegades as the favorite. And that may just be because of the first map, because it was even when we went into that one. So A's taken over, Crystal with a first kill, a little bit of impact early. And these Renegade players, of course, do have that bomb ticking already. It's about a third of the way done, and Azur's caught by Ricke's flank, never sees it coming. In fact, these CTs, they're already all over the bomb site. Heavy presence, and they tapped it once to try and anticipate a peek, but nope, nothing yet. So they're going to have to stick the defuse, and Liaz is going to have to kill them all of them, the 4 that do remain. And as the other 3 distract, it's going to be that defuse most certainly coming through. He tries and tries as he might, but now the kills come in.
That was a really nice attempt from Liaz. At the end of the day, he was hoping that someone got off the bomb, and that's the most he can do because he's just got so many people coming into his angle. I feel like he played it as well as he could have, and he could have tried to wide swing, but he almost certainly dies there if he does that. And whereas if they have to tap the bomb again, it's very unnerving for Rogue because they've got to body block their last guy. So I like how Liaz approached that, even though it was maybe a bit too late. Maybe if he had been on the front of things, gotten a couple of kills early on, they could have had a chance of actually sealing it up. But no, Rogue take this one. And now the Renegades are all going up into Palace. Again, my favorite eco strat. I love this strat. Everyone just jumps out halls in this flash, and you're really close to the bomb plant zone. It comes down to Sick here to frag out.
Whoop, he's got himself 3. Good M4A4 work. Famas already in tow here. Rikke wants to get himself into the equation quickly. And if he doesn't get it done, it's Vice that finds that last one. So Rogue 2-0, rapid start.
Yeah, quick and clean. Really easy, good stuff from Rogue. Now, the Renegades, they get to buy up here. They've got everything they want and more. There's not going to be an op on the board for anybody, but it's a little bit too early to expect that from either team. And so I think now we have a smoke that comes over mid. Or it might have been just like an early flash, actually. Initial nade presence as Crystal now pushes up aggressively. I think the flash was mistimed a little bit, but he's got Sick right behind him to make sure that things go according to plan. Crystal now wants to fall back off the action. Definitely caught in no man's land. Would be hard-pressed to find two. Very unlikely scenario. However, Azur sitting there on Cat, and he manages to finally find Crystal in the later engagement. The bomb is now recovered. Vice in the CT spawn is in a prime position. Doesn't want to die here and is already playing far back, interestingly enough. Maybe anticipating a flash to come and push him into spawn or just to get him blind completely. Pacifist mode from the CTs.
I mean, it's honorable, but it's not going to get the job done. All right, you're going to have to pull that trigger. It's not going to happen yet because they are playing this methodically, smoking off any potential threat that could have been inside of jungle, but again, there's nobody there. We've got Rogue very patiently back. As you said, pacifists in terms of stopping this bomb plant, but you're going to assume they go for this retake. I mean, they've got the footing nearby. And you'd think that Renegades joins them in from catwalk, trying to counter any mid presence that could be here. In reality, it's a connector player and two now on ramp because they gave Renegades not only the bomb plant, but then ample opportunity to retreat. I mean, it is only now at the halfway point on this bomb that they've done anything towards the site. Two frag grenades towards fire accomplishes nothing. It's going to be Renegade a blindside from behind. Azur's probably wondering why it took so long for that to unfold. And while Gratisfaction has killed Hiko, the bomb's not planted in the open for him. So the defuse from Vice is looking good. Rogue, they slip right in.
That's pretty nasty. It looks like they're taking way too much time. You know, Vice is playing so far back, they walk up to spawn, they really take their time on every angle, and then it actually is because of that they are offered up kills a little bit more easily. So like Rikke, you know, maybe he's only got one chance to get the frag, but Azur's completely turned around, just not expecting a retake to even come out, let alone a player to come from mid. So you can kind of see, I guess, just that patience paying off, and even though it maybe ruins the amount of times the amount of time in total they have for each engagement, it gives them a much better chance of getting that first kill and like right away. Now Ricky standing on the windowsill is unable to block the smoke that comes his way. Crystal peering over the top of the one that was thrown for him to try to guide his vision, but it's the Renegades who don't have much to work with.
More utility down, but what's interesting about this is that it was actually Rikke called off of the window in order to help towards connector, and oh boy.
Yikes.
Jacob slips through. Now, if he goes over to the B site, he's only going to find Hiko up towards Cat. Now, Hiko's already worried about his back because of the apps. But what about Market?
This is kind of interesting because there's a point at which Jacob can cross into an angle that Hiko will clear accidentally and assume he has just jumped out of the window. And we don't know when that is going to happen. Jacob's here camping on this.
Oh my god. Are you kidding? Jacob, after all that, finds nothing because timing just blesses Rogue.
Oh, wow. And maybe he took too much time to just make something happen.
It's funny because Hiko has no clue how lucky he is to be alive.
Right, exactly.
Rikke walks out like, do you know about this? We've got the shutdown now from Hiko, picks up 2. Sick takes the place of his dead teammates and looks to maintain a man advantage. 15 seconds on the clock. Bomb has to be planted, and it is not looking good for the Aussies. JKS, sure enough, will find another kill, but now it's 10 seconds. Now it's absolute plant or nothing, and he really doesn't want to go down after time. Will come off with a Deagle headshot. That's nasty, but now the time is the absolute biggest issue. It's the reason he loses the round. But another Deagle gets it done.
That's a big frag. I mean, because he doesn't die after time, that's insane. And it also takes down almost $15,000 worth of equipment value for Rogue. So they will have a salty rebuy here as they do pick up the M4s once again. They at least get an op in their hands. But Renegades have a great buy. And, you know, not dying after time means JKS is also able to afford some nades himself. Maybe even drop a teammate. Might have missed that. But I've never seen such a favorable flank.
That's
such
wild.
A lucky favorable flank go so badly.
Kill from Sick first. These T's trying to get out from ramp. They have a buy, and Sick just tears through them as if they're unarmored noobs. Gratisfaction. His entire teammate just got slaughtered in front of him.
Unbelievable. What a 3 frag from Sick. Looking clean as hell. Perfect ammo conservation. I mean, it all comes with the accuracy. But nobody stood a chance. Absolutely no time to fire back or even adjust.
Again, with the speed of which he dispatched them all, it really did look like this was just an eco.
Absolutely.
Clearly, the guns scattered across the ground tell of a different story, but I mean, look at these corpses pile up. It is gruesome scenes on the A site, and, well, they continue to stack.
There is maybe the opportunity here. We saw last round JKS get all of the kills at the end of the round. That can hurt Rogue quite a bit, so Rogue are almost certainly going to play this one out patiently, meaning Gratisfaction could potentially surmise another kill. A plant would be a lot less likely. Crossing from this point on is incredibly difficult. And yeah, Ricky goes ahead and finds it. So cuts the site in half, as well as Gratisfaction.
First one, half blind. That one's nice because the head is turned, and you can see JKS even jumping up. Doesn't realize he just put his face on a silver pedestal.
Yeah, and Liaz just springs to action immediately. But because he gets a third kill so fast, there's just no chance to save his teammate. Can hardly be blamed for that. Great flashes as well. So now Renegades bust out to mid. They've only got a few pistols, but they have actually picked up armor because now they're in a situation, max round loss bonus. They can spend half of what they have and still have enough for a full buy in the next round. And we know how powerful pistols can be. Story that maybe, even though it has been told so many times, cannot be told enough.
Ooh. Just kind of lurks back away. Could come up middle from a different direction, and that would be a good idea, seeing as now that there is a heavy presence from Renegades. Multiple points of entry possible for both Rogue and the T side. You gotta be careful here, Vice. He's gonna get overwhelmed, even despite putting the fire at their feet. He's killed instantly, but 3 targets present themselves. Crystal, he's just frantic in his spray because he knows how many were just there. Gets away in a 2 versus 3, still to the favor of Renegades with 45 seconds up. Does not anticipate a man in that corner. And so Hiko left alone.
Man, Crystal's really freaking out in that situation. I mean, maybe take a second, reload your gun, man. Like, have a drink, sit down, read a book, chill out. Like in the previous rounds where they were going for the retakes, they just slowed it down to almost a complete halt, and it ended up working out well for them. Wow, Hiko gets flying dinked. And knows is too smart. And realizes that somebody is trying to catch his fallback. But he does turn it into a successful save, it seems like. At some point, the chase will be on. I don't mind Hiko hanging out here for a second to see if a kill will come his way, but even though they're up 5-0, they are low on money.
Yeah. One of those situations where it's like, sure, you're getting rounds, but you have to remember, of course, you are susceptible to an economic crash.
Yeah. Nobody's better than that. 5-1 could be big. Economy could be back in the favor of the Renegades. And we see that the momentum has exchanged hands for both of these teams, at least very much so on Dust 2. Jacob, look at that James Bond.
My big question is, I mean, you look at the money here, right, for Renegades, and then look at the score. The money that they have
makes no sense.
It makes you think that you know, that's the money Rogue should have after a 5-1 lead. They have one round, and everybody's sitting on, you know, plus 6K for the most part.
Yeah, it's not conducive. It doesn't add up.
That's why I don't understand math.
It's fair. With games like this, you really change your whole conception of math. And okay, yeah, it's just an overall ISP issue. Is everybody's got the exact same ping, 142.
Call the service provider. Tell them you're in the middle of a flawless ESL Pro League season.
Yeah. And you might say it jokingly, but you were dead serious.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So we'll just give Renegades a chance to settle the ping.
I'm curious where they live. I wonder if it is California or not.
I mean, listen, when Renegades were first, you know, created and flown over, I'm talking with Sponge. Didn't they live in a casino?
Did they?
Yeah, they lived in a casino when they
Is that
first
why they
came
did
over.
that video?
Yeah, yeah, it was in Vegas, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they first came over.
Maybe they live in Vegas. Vegas has become a very popular spot for esports because it's close to California.
Yep.
The weather's not
showbiz.
quite as nice, but the rent is dirt cheap. So you're, you know, a few hours away, you get the same ping as your friends from California, but the living costs are way down there. Good
I'm trying
argument
to
for Vegas.
rack my brain. I feel like we had an event in Vegas once upon a time.
Oh, well, there was a DreamHack in DreamHack Vegas.
True, right?
DreamHack
The Masters.
That was an interesting one.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
I've actually never been to Vegas.
Neither have I, but we've both been to Macau.
That's true.
That's like the...
Maybe keep it that way, you know?
Yeah.
Never been to Vegas, but I've been to a place that makes more money than Vegas doing the exact same thing.
I feel like that to me, when I tell people that fact, is that I feel like they're a lot of actually mind blown that Macau, again, profits more from gambling than Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas is supposed to be the, you know, gambling capital of the world.
Yeah,
but
don't underestimate Chinese billionaires. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much.
We've been there. We took a helicopter to get there.
Is that the story you want to tell? Yeah. What a ride that was.
No, it was supposed to be a helicopter ride back if we won big.
That's true. So we took the boat.
Yeah. Let's say, you know, putting it all on red doesn't always pay off.
Yeah, especially, and yeah, don't switch, guys. If you choose a color, stick to it. Don't do what I did. Because I heard once that Tarek lost 13 times in a row on black. And the dealer told him that was the only time that he's ever seen someone lose that many times in a row on one color. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to switch it every other color.
And that didn't work
That was
either.
a mistake too. So what are you supposed to do, man? There's no consistency. I don't like this whole gambling thing.
I'm supposed to be winning money.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do some highlights. Let's do some highlights. We've got
Okay,
90
yeah.
seconds
I would
till
like to
live.
look at some highlights.
I'd happily look at them.
I'm going to push the button.
I'm going to push one too. Ah, I got it. This is the start of the round, the pistol. These were swift. I mean, why couldn't he do that just 2 seconds sooner?
Yeah.
It was the same angle. It was the same enemies.
If his teammate helped him out with one kill, that would have looked amazing.
See, I think that's you know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
The
Connor?
pressure was off once the bomb was defused.
Well, I don't think the bomb. Oh yeah, I guess he got the first two. He got the first two while the bomb was still getting diffused.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just like a mix. It was like right on the.
the poor Jacob flank.
This is unreal. Yeah.
Man, we've already had a heartbreaker in the first 5 rounds. Then this double deagle. Now that I think about it, we've had for a game that's only 6 rounds deep. There's been some pretty cool moments.
It's kind of crazy. It's got a whole game's worth of content.
This as well. 6 spray down.
Don't forget about this. Probably the
Yo.
highlight of the whole thing so far.
Replay, man. You're on point tonight.
Yeah. He's catching it all.
This was just wild.
That was crazy.
So
I mean,
scared.
at that point, like you're like, all right, I've done my job. There might be people here. I'm not going to die to somebody by accident. They're gonna be the accident.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where it's like if there was any teammates alive, I would just stand 20 feet back around the corner.
This guy. Whoa, this guy. Oh.
Settle down. Oh, we've got the ping coming down. All right, sweet. So
Nice. That's playable.
an inevitable start is coming, folks. Do not fret. Do not sweat. And of course, don't go anywhere.
I wonder how many people stick around for the entire broadcast.
Yeah, it's true, right? How many
12
people
hours.
come in for just... Oh, you're talking EU as well. Yeah. That's true.
There's got to be one guy.
He just sits there every day. I
Watches
mean,
more
listen,
CS than anybody.
their ESL Pro League is many days in a row.
Yeah. No. I mean,
He's got both streams open all day long.
yeah. I mean, technically, you could sleep at the weirdest hours.
I mean, I'm
Maybe.
looking forward to going to bed at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe he does too. Mm-hmm. I wonder what time zone you'd have to be in to catch all the action. Well, any time zone if you're really committed.
That's true. It depends on your dedication, more than anything else. And this is oh wow, Rogue did not invest past this even to stop him at the 5-1 score line. So this is a really tantalizing opportunity for Rogue to try to force because there's so much on the line for the Renegades. Oh, actually, Renegades do have some money left over. Oh, the push is not good. Liaz, wow, finding Hiko behind the wood.
Whoop. 2 more headshots off JKS. So Rikke, I mean, he's just asking for mercy. Like, guys, I'm one of you. I remember what Marmite tastes like.
Let's see, make a show of it. They know where he is. He flashes himself.
Yeah, not that kind of show, Ricky.
Yeah. Oh, they actually, I don't know why they look. It looked like they just wanted to approach him from 4 different angles, but instead, as soon as they saw that he was crazy throwing nades, they decided to disperse, plant the bomb at B.
It's like Crystal and mid again. Like,
Yeah,
whoa, back
totally.
up, guys. This one's crazy.
This guy's nuts. I don't want any of this.
Don't make eye contact. Just wait and shoot him in the back of the head, you know?
That's a nade and
Or
a half.
chunk him with a frag.
Oh, he's got no armor.
That will do it. Oof. So will a single bullet. He knows he's being pinched, and down he goes. So following that round from Renegades, there's going to be a brief pause here, guys. Don't fret. We're just fixing TeamSpeak, and I can tell you that it is a 60 seconds or less type situation.
Caster, start the match.
Launders, press your button. Not too many times.
I think they disabled my button.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them. You can't be trusted. Can you be trusted? Are you a trustworthy guy?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that too.
You said that in the most
emphatically.
sarcastic of ways. That makes me.
Of course you can trust me. Just look in 10 different directions.
Pass me your credit card. Can you give me your credit card?
Speaking of trust and credit cards, it's actually cut up in a hotel in Turkey.
That was some of the best hotel service ever.
That was amazing. So we got an.
If only you know
There's
these
Nico around to
pauses were
talk about
longer.
it.
Damn. Got so many stories in our back
Great
pocket.
stories for you guys.
We just want to talk about ourselves. But we'll talk about Counter-Strike for now. AWP honed in. Rick Gaze got himself a kill. He's just frustrated that he wasn't given a chance in Palace last round, so he makes sure that he's first point of contact this time. And in doing so, he establishes a 5 versus 4. There's a lot of repositioning going on inside of the apps, but Liaz cannot make anything of it. JKS, great smoke spam. Lines up the angle and punishes Sick for his transgressions.
Good on Vice to trade information here to go into A ramp. This is kind of an expected play, and he's expecting that somebody else is going to come back and maybe try to scout him out. But I don't even know like at what point the angle is favored towards him. We know that there's no shadows that they have to worry about. He's going to hear Gratisfaction jumping up. Does he know that he's going to come over top? Now he knows for sure. Drops the bomb as well. Vice, he's got to be worried about Palace, however. And now with the smoke down, he's segregated himself, but maybe he goes on the other side of it. Yeah, so you can actually see this thing.
Gets the reload in as well. That's crucial, but okay, Ricky.
Damn.
He's had enough. Puts him to sleep, keeps the lead at 4 rounds, and the cash is good enough for Renegades to continue to this investment.
Rogue looks sturdy at the moment. Very good, and that was an incredibly important kill. It came close. You wouldn't have expected Ricky to get that. If he dies, obviously he gets 1. That's good enough. They probably still win, but that helps them manage their economy. Even though because they've been winning rounds, it hasn't always worked out for them. As soon as Renegades won that first one, it seemed like Rogue were on a knife's edge all of a sudden in terms of what they could spend. Full A execute here in round 9. One player late down mid, and he didn't have to use much utility to get as far as he did.
Whoa. Damage from the ops. A duel of the snipers. And dual wielding the snipers is Rogue between Sick and Ricky. Gratisfaction's got that 3rd here in this equation, this round, the 9th. Crystals with the opening kill. That's immediately towards mid, so cuts off an entire section of Renegade's assault, and Liaz, who takes the high road, is sent packing back to the depths of spawn. 4v3 with Gratisfaction up above yet again. He jumps up and over, misses the flick shot. Nice attempt. Gonna give him props for that. At least JKS lays down some lead, and the kill will give some cover. It's gonna still continue on. Rogue not hesitant in this walkout forward, but then they just both get clotheslined. Sent packing yet again. Sick. Whew. One shot connects, bomb. That's the problem. Never gonna get that defuse, and JKS with a 3K. He's definitely an anchor and a pure rock in form of the Palace hold.
Yeah, absolutely. And pushing out of the smoke, he had to pick the correct time to do it. But man, was that critical. His teammate over at Tetris was dead to rights. So I think that he made the best possible play. And it was something that, you know, you can't train yourself to do. Most of the time you're behind a smoke, you don't really think, okay, most of the time you got to hope your teammate gets what they can out of the round, and then you come in at the end, try to go for the 1v2 or whatever the case may be. But I think by far that made the most sense. So good for him to take initiative in a dire situation. And Renegades pull one out of the hat. Out of the butt.
Get it out of there.
Get it out. All the way down mid are the Renegades. Jacob. Obviously, spectator smokes. We might have been able to see his outline, but not surprised he couldn't. Top of the connector smoke comes in, and Jacob spots one player leaving, so they know that it has been evacuated.
Rick is waiting for that headshot. Could be a pristine moment to cut down the numbers, but now he realizes how screwed he really is. Ooh, but Sick gets into position. If it wasn't for Gratisfaction's op, then that rifle could still be standing and in the faces of the Renegades, who do push in for their plant.
Yeah.
But it's delayed, and the longer they wait, the closer Rogue actually get up from apps. I mean, they're going to walk so that they don't make any sound. But finally, JKS punches in the numbers.
They definitely love this. I don't know. They're posting on... Oh, they're actually just looking to jump over a scope of an op before they move in. Gratisfaction. Oh, he wants some. He will get one.
Hiko prevented from moving anything further off the catwalk. Smoke and a couple flashbangs for Vice to play with, but they've already called it quits. They'll keep what they have. The little they hold on to is still better than nothing. Although, that's Renegades cutting down this lead. 2 points the difference now as they secure a fourth.
Indeed it is, and it is a close game once again. Surprised to see it. Early starts, followed by late comebacks. Might be a classic matchup in ESL Pro League. Teams, could they potentially play themselves more than twice? No, there wouldn't be a way, right?
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up. I don't think so, but yeah, good, definitely a good matchup.
I don't think so. I mean, there's so many teams already.
Yeah, I think everyone just plays it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to assume. Confidently.
Good.
Puff out my chest. Flap my wings. Let's see if Renegades can continue to soar forward to the 6 rounds that Rogue currently have established. Remember, double AK's up, taken from the previous round. Where do they currently reside? We've got one working its way up catwalk behind Crystal, who is the bait on the end of the hook. And then Vice is clearly here towards ramp. I feel like informational plays towards ramp have been a key piece to Rogue's defense so far.
Especially if you know that the other team love to send their one person in a palace, which is so common to do. The trickiest part about Mirage, if you're going to send 3 mid, 1 towards B, the B guy can watch underpass and the B push. The A guy has to pick between palace, or he's sitting in spawn and being completely useless. So he's got to pick between palace and A ramp. Here, Vice gets killed, and it is kind of an eco round, so they were not favored by any stretch of the imagination.
Ooh. Nice. 4K from Jacob. Good anti-eco again. As we said, right? Those 2 AKs were out there, but neither of them get anything done. They have to go into positions where they are either kind of hit or miss, and it's not like they have flashbangs behind them from their teammates. It's not like they have smokes to work off, so you can see that was one falling towards catwalk, and then, of course, the MAC-10 versus AK duel in ramp. Bit of a shame that that AK actually ends up walking into the SMG close, because mitigates the disadvantage. And leads us to this, the 12th round of the first half. Rapidly moving forward we are. And so is Jacob, just taking up a tear straight through middle, leaving a path of flames behind him and a pile of corpses on catwalk. But already Renegades down into the B site. They're trickling in towards Hiko, who gets tagged up but not killed yet. He's just playing around the columns, comes face to face. Nose to nose with JKS. But Rogue know not where Renegades have gotten off to, because they're all isolated inside of the market. The 3 remaining CTs, nowhere else. 0 presence other than in the shop. And it's closing hours. They've gone ahead and tucked tail, and they want to keep the stock that they still did hold on to.
But surprise, Keeper has left the market. Ricky is aware of the potential threat. So Renegades take another round. I think what was critical there was obviously calling out how Hiko was going to use the smoke and where he was going to be, because if he had 100 HP, maybe he doesn't run through the site like that, and he almost gets a kill anyway. But what was most important was that he got spammed down to 90 HP after that smoke gets dropped, knowing that that is how people play the pillar right at the beginning of that round. And so straight up pre-fire, I don't think that they saw Hiko whatsoever, but it made a lot of sense, and it's going to make it a particularly difficult spot to play now that he has to think about it differently. Can't stand in that exact same position. 6-6, Renegades mounting the comeback for real. For real, for real.
I think this is nice to see Liaz kind of putting up numbers alongside JKS, because throughout all the iterations of Renegades, I think JKS was always kind of touted as the one who was supposed to be the star.
Yeah.
And now him and Liaz are side by side, the oldest member and one of the, and newest too. Looking good. Comes into the bottom of middle and is denied by 6 presence inside of connector. This is just a trade fest back and forth, but the counter terrorists are pinched from both directions. Liaz bottom mid, JKS from the A site. Speak of the devil, he gives himself a credit that is most certainly due, because Renegades are now in the lead.
Yeah, that was crazy. That definitely could have gone either way once they got to mid, but JKS is that last-minute insurance policy as he comes on the A side, made it look way too easy. And not close at all. Now JKS going to go ahead and smoke top mid. Is actually going to make his way back to A. Not sure if he's going to do something quite aggressive. He seems to run that way with conviction. I don't know if he's going to make his presence known, but it looks like a fast split is on the docket for the T's. I lied. I'm kidding.
Immediate fallback. I feel like it's been a little while since we've seen Rogue with an established man advantage. Every time they've gotten this kill, it's just traded back. Remember how fast we had that trade pace previously. Second top shot. That's the snipers paying dividends here.
Yeah, not something that you can do many times in a half. Good to pull it in on the late rounds where you're kind of at a deficit and it's like, all right, well, we just need to change something up. We don't exactly know what that is. Kind of pick up the ops, turn the brain off, let them work.
Remember that in that second half of Dust 2, it was 7 rounds in a row for Rogue. And then just a complete and utter turnaround. Well, this time it started with 5, and it's been Renegades ever since. This is the difference maker. This is the spree ender. 5 straight for Renegades, and now an answer from Rogue. So, as close as possibly could be.
Yeah.
Except someone's going to take that lead. Place your bet, Mohan. Who is it?
Who's going to take this round? I think Renegades take this round.
Okay.
I think they take this round going B.
All right. You think the double op setup does anything here for the CTs?
I think if they go B, B would probably be the best place to go versus a double off setup. It doesn't seem like they're going to do that right now. I don't know if it's going to be something really quick here, but with this many people walking out Palace, and they just want to attract some attention to A, pull out some of the grenades that could potentially use as counter grenades, it seems like now they're going to go contact explode.
Yeah, they're actually doing a really good job of avoiding those snipers, both of which right now on the B site. That does allow for the riflemen to just kind of rotate closer towards A. 6 allowing them out. This position should be telling his teammates that, yeah, they are here now in the open. 6 just gets himself a double. There's the third. Nice multi-frag off of the triple box. Maybe that's why they call it what they do. Gratisfaction at Azert trying to combine here to pull this one back. Again, the last round of the first 15. And it is only the new Opper now standing. He's got himself across to the site, but he's got opponents in all 3 directions. He's jumping between the boxes, can't quite find a target to take, and so Rogue will go ahead and find it. 8-7 at the end of this first half.
Well, obviously, if 6 didn't exist, they would have definitely won that round. He was, I mean, he played his spot. He knew what he was doing. He let them walk out. He realized at a certain point they're going to start throwing nades. Like, you can only walk so far. And it's obviously on his first 3K of the map.
See, that's the thing is we go back to Dust 2 and we were kind of touting him as being that anchor on the B-bomb site. I don't think we ever saw those sorts of clips.
No, he's getting neutralized, yeah.
And now, this time, we get at least 2 of them. So when you think of Sick, those of you at home, remember highlights like that, because I think that's when his forte really shines. It's kind of when he's left to his own device,
yeah.
when he's able to just attract the attention of multiple targets and segregate them one by one.
Yeah, just a great side anchor for sure. And I can only assume he kept honest communication open with his team there. And yeah, it was still fine. It was still fine. Kind of had them do exactly what he wanted. Just let their guard down.
Yeah. So that's 5 rounds at the start for Rogue, 1 in the middle, and the last 2 as well. Those 2 rounds certainly giving them a bit of a buffer. But how long do they hold it? That's the biggest question, because this pistol could take it back. And Jacob's got himself the first 2 kills. These T's come to a grinding halt within the apartments, cannot seem to get past, but that's all right, because Crystal blasts his way straight through mid. Jacob on a 4K, single-handedly looking to win this pistol, and Crystal has to make it clear that he is able to clutch.
This could be a good start. Already up on the cat, and he's got a USP, so he's looking for long-range engagement just as much as the CTs are, but Jacob's on for the ace.
Gratisfaction will find it, but that's perfectly fine. That is 8 rounds apiece. Renegades immediately tying things up Let's see if they can start with as strong as a beginning as Rogue did.
Yeah, it's maybe the least telling pistol win that we've seen so far today, where it's just so tight, and not only that, but just each and every single round seemed to be a round that could have gone the other way. So I don't know what we'll drag from that. And also there's the potential for ecos. We've seen that in this series already. So
yep.
We'll leave that on the table. Wow. Renegades so heavily favored after that second half. I'm surprised. Very interesting.
Deep frag, any damage? A little bit towards Hiko. You got to be careful with these CZ75s. If you're inside of connector, if you're sitting on this windowsill, you are primed to be popped. That's a smoke coming off of the B player, just refurbishing it for Jacob's benefit. Still no casualties as of yet, despite two of these Ts holding on by a thread. A flying JKS turns Vice dead, and now it's Jacob to be tested. He lines up 3, takes only 1, and damages the other 2. But now JKS knows that he is susceptible to the split, which most certainly seems to go Rogue's way. Even keel yet once more with the 2v2. Right through smoke goes Ricky. And as fast as he goes through, he goes down.
Maybe you should have counted his blessings with that smoke down, because it actually gave him a way for them to plant. And I guess he was hoping, I mean, he's taking a risk. You know, he's taking a risk. He's low HP. They have pistols. Maybe if he goes there, he gets a gun. Maybe if he goes there, he gets lucky timing on something coming through into window. So a lot of good reasons for him to try it. But it was a very unlikely round to begin with. So, yeah, can't actually say anything too bad about that.
I mean, Ricky is a gambling man, a fan of Las Vegas.
True. There you go.
He's a poker player, actually.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
A lot of overlap between poker players and CS players. Famously, Shagwire made the final table of WSOP.
I think NBK is fond of a good game of cards. Whoa, be careful, my friend. It's just an MP9, but you don't want them to get their grubby paws on it. Rogue's known to be sneaky. Trade frag effective to the bottom of underpass, and nobody else for the CTs in a position to really swarm. But Sick doesn't even want the fruits of his labor, the splendors of his win.
Instead, they go back. They trek back. And JKS is going to play that role that we saw Vice in, where he's perusing around that A ramp, spotting for Palace, deciding where to be aggressive and how aggressive to be. Similar weaponry as well. He gets that early audio cue to help his teammates know what to do. Almost continues the spray, and the pistol shots are actually not good from Vice. Somehow, I don't know, somehow he survives. Somehow he doesn't kill Vice.
Somehow he doesn't die at all.
Yeah,
JKS, lucky Jacob's there to help. A little bit of synergy inside of the bomb site. He does the heavy lifting, and then Jacob pads the stats. But it's Renegades to pad another round onto the board. They are the first to hit double digits, and they will have another chance here, as they do, of course, have guns. But do not sleep on the fact that Rogue are also on a purchase, and it does include an op.
Yeah, a critical weapon, and especially in the hands of Ricky. I feel like Ricky is the most consistent opera on the server right now. I like how he plays the game. I like his brand of Counter-Strike. For sure.
I like that he takes initiative, right? I feel like when Ricky wants to do something, he does it. And there have been times where maybe that can be criticized. But when he's going up against teams of his own caliber, that's when you love to see it, because he will take a server by storm.
JKS, when does he make a move? They're testing middle. I know he doesn't want to push too many things if he doesn't need to. Ricky capitalizes on Jacob. And now JKS is more tempted than ever to try to get some map control. Does he win this duel versus Vice? Vice is holding for the crouch peek. The flash is not good. And Vice makes quick work of him.
Turns him into mincemeat. Well, he has an Azert nowhere to be found. They're just looking to hold on here, because Rogue's going to close this gap. I think we have a very real game on our hands for the time being.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone's walking away with this easy.
Nope. It's going to be the struggle bus.
Definitely a great matchup.
Again, we talked about it, right? Kind of being one of the closer ones.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised when Renegades just seemed to turn it on in that second half of Dust 2, because up until that happened, it was very much back and forth.
Right. Yeah, and it's important because both teams don't look bad. You know, they look good and close.
I mean, Rogue having obviously made a run in the stages of the most recent major. Renegades falling a little bit short, but looking very refreshed with this new lineup.
Yeah,
Solid
liking
start to the
Leaz a
season.
lot, huh?
Yeah, I am.
I'm really not sold on Gratisfaction. Like, I know we've seen what he can do, but in these past couple of days, I mean, I'm not sure I'm seeing it personally.
I'm more than willing to still give him time, but yeah, I do agree. Leaz is kind of turning my head first, right?
Great entries on Dust 2.
I also think it's also a big jump up for these guys. So,
Sure, yeah, it could take time. No doubt about it.
More than patient.
Yeah, I just give him the keys. If I'm IGL for this team, I just say Gratisfaction. Show us what you want to do.
Yeah,
you're
prove
clearly very aggressive. That means you're confident. That means you can make probably better decisions than someone can make for you. And we can reel it in if stuff gets a little bit too crazy, but I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point, right? If you are one of those aggressive offers, it's 100% easier to make your own calls.
Of course, yeah. No, people will only slow you down. You can think faster than anyone can speak.
I think that going back to the point of kind of, Ricky being verbal and choosing to do what he wants, I think he falls into that very same camp, right? He's not an in-game leader, but he's a very vocal player. He wants to have his input, and he wants to have his space.
Definitely.
At least that's what I've heard from speaking to some of his old teammates.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen him after lands be very frustrated about calls that were made and just how he felt about like situations that could have gone a bit differently.
That's good though. I'd rather a player like
absolutely.
that than one who's just kind of complacent
No,
to the loss.
it feels like they're invested. They have equity. They care. They care more. Absolutely good to have that. Impassioned players.
Rotating players too. Rogue just kind of floating back and forth between their spawn. Gonna get that bomb up into the apartments. They head over towards the B site. What do they have in terms of a defense? Looks like a hopper, a spotter going for the calls. But it's a 3-man cohort here in mid.
And finally the smoke goes down. At the elbow of Cat. Hazard to take first contact in the lineup is great.
Perfect double kill. Oh,
Could
he
even
turned
not
into
done
more.
yet.
3.5 nearly. Great damage with that M4. Jacob going to try to clear one with a nade, but it is only Sick who remains, and he has nothing further than some footing inside the apps. He doubles back, 10 seconds on the clock. He just needs to survive or ensure that nobody's here to kill him, which is the case. Run, my friend. Run free.
Yeah, it looked like Jacob, it's not that he didn't want the fight. He was like thinking about, wow, is there a way I can play the time here? And Sick catches him holding S. If he does play with the standard keyboard layout, don't want to alienate anybody.
What's your freakiest keybind? What makes you a standout?
Spacebar for talking.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's about as adventurous as I get. If I play another game, like I play Fortnite, I play RDFG for movement, and then I have all kinds of crazy keybinds. But in Counter-Strike, there's not that many binds that you need, so I just played WASD. But apart from that, nothing that weird. I'm not like...
Not like me?
Shooting with right click. Why, what you got?
I've got walk and crouch on my forward and back thumb button on my mouse.
Oh man, I would never do that.
Don't at me.
Okay, I'm not at you. That's fair. That's a good time to use that for sure. You could get called out if not for that. Disclaimer.
Gun rounds up. AWPs are present. Yes, Gratisfaction versus Rick. That CT Opper's got a bit of a gap to work with, but it's the run boost. Okay, Crystal's tried like 3 run boosts in these 2 maps, and each time it's just completely flopped.
We actually don't know whose fault it is, though, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it's whoever's calling them.
It's true, yeah.
Like,
so
stop.
we need some more, we
Just
need a
stop.
little bit more info. That's funny, though.
That's twice.
Whoever's just calling for them.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Whoever's idea it is.
I feel like if you call for the run boost, you have to give the liberty to the other person to get on your head.
Yeah, true.
They have to be the one to go.
Yeah, you can't just tell people to let you walk all over them. It's an unhealthy relationship.
Damn.
Jacob's dancing with death, but it's a beautiful ballad. Sick will catch him on the fallback, and he's even got himself a headshot versus JKS, but moments before JKS falls, of course he gets a kill. Sick just a sliver of a second too late. And now as he comes back in the middle, he will be spotted. Nice positioning there from Leaz. Very, very unorthodox off angle.
Delivering once again, and Renegades now in a power position. 3 rounds the difference. And they obviously don't get any benefit for being farther ahead, but we can see that their CG side is really starting to come together. Rogue are finally pushed back onto a save, and they have to now reach deep into the playbook to figure out how they're not only going to survive this, but do good enough damage that they can mount a comeback, not have to go through too many buys. As Renegades will be happy to see that they can now start to build up a bank. A couple of their players, $100 and $500, are are in the mood to make some money. He doesn't love some money. But there's not a single flash on the board. Rogue have split up quite heavily. Crystal's already tagged low. Seems like they maybe want to try to go B after the smoke, but with a deep smoke like that, it's so intimidating. You don't know what they've gone and set up behind it. But even still, it is just an eco. Yes. It's going to trail the spray a little bit behind Ricky's peak. And although he gets info on one player, that's not going to tell his team much. I wouldn't alert anybody of anything quite yet. There's still plenty of time to make a rotation, and Jacob's going to get that information, knocking the bomb down, hitting the spray, 4 frags. Really well done.
Damn. Headshots, Monon. Just headshots and more headshots. And despite the best efforts, this one's starting to look like Dust 2, where all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, things were turned around. Jacob, look at him, just line him up. The fact that he's not caught off after that first double, like there's a second delay there between him actually peeking underpass and then dealing with the players at the top of mid, and he's never supposed to get more than 2, all right? Clear underpass, that's fine, it's a very narrow lane, but it's supposed to be that right hook that comes from top mid.
Oh boy. Yeah, spots an opportunity. So much damage dealt. Crazy flash coming out the A ramp with Vice flying out right behind him. Oh my goodness, if that was a kill.
Oh boy. Got Azure up with eyes above. And a man disadvantage, Renegades have turned it back with flames. Crystal for the plant. Nobody's going to stop him from CT spawn because the entirety of this defense is actually over towards connector, and that's a missed shot from Gratisfaction, one of those easy ones we talked about, but Jacob picks up the pieces.
Oh, he's still on fire.
Yes, he most certainly is, and so are Renegades. Trade's very efficient here as they isolate the T's, keep them pushed back towards ramp and Tetris, so it's a big assault. They're going to come clearing the corners, but they are cleared out themselves. 3 rapid frags here from Rogue. They establish double digits and cut the lead to 3.
You know, there's probably too much dabbing in Counter-Strike when it comes to like winning rounds. Just no matter what happens, win or lose, go ahead and dab your teammate up. That's a round where, you know, Sick and Vice be like, yeah, we really just did that. They definitely deserve props for that one. That's so unlikely. Either of them die, just totally falls apart. They're just, their position's known. The bomb is not even planted for them. They technically could have had someone run to the bomb, and it would have been very hard for Rogue to go and try to play an after plant with that in mind. And now they're just keeping the tempo high, running right up A ramp.
Yeah, charging forward before the smoke even plumes, so that makes Leah's job very easy. JKS actually finishes the assist, and now a gap from Jacob. That's beautiful stuff. I mean, these T's thinking that they could hit the A site with ease yet again are absolutely wrong.
Yeah, I wonder what the idea was behind keeping it so like simple, like running out a ramp. I mean, just because they were able to win that last round, was there a good reason to try it again? I guess in a sense that works as a change-up. Oh my gosh, Ricky almost holding it together to hit the 2-piece, and Gratisfaction with the op would have been slow to come in for a trade, so definitely got a bit more scary than it needed to be for a minute there, but could be a 2-0 for Renegades, as now we're at 14 once again, and just as Rogue claw their way back in, just like the last map, Renegades have started to peel away when it really matters.
Again, right, keeping this current flawless run alive.
They're just forcing up every round now. This is really strange. They forced up last round, Mac 10 to lead. Here, a couple of Galeals and CZs, and they're all at A ramp, staged up for another rush. Just trying to give the A players ADR, apparently.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, if you were going for these force buys, I wouldn't mind so much if there were layers or different strats, but
Yeah.
it's mirrored. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but last round didn't convince me.
No.
So we'll see if they can make anything of it this time around. Maybe not expecting the exact same play, but it's incredibly similar. JKS off of the triple stack, spotting the targets. Nobody's yet to reveal Jacob, who does come into the equation with a kill quickly. It's 2 apiece for the defenders. Gratisfactions rotate. We'll seal the deal. That's 15, folks, and I think Rogue are done here.
Yeah, it seems like they're late for dinner or something, like mom's calling all 5 of them, and they really need to get downstairs. Because that was kind of, there was not much thought put into that rush whatsoever. I can't imagine they're that surprised by the results. That's kind of exactly how we expected the round to play out.
Yeah.
They didn't have the equipment to do it, and I mean, luckily they weren't counter-nated, but it's kind of an interesting contrast from the first map where near the end they actually saved when it was 11-14 just to play for OT.
Yeah,
and
that's
now
very true.
they've kind of like dropped that discipline, but it clearly something's changed.
Good point. Stark contrast and a stark difference here between the purchases of Renegades and Rogue. Strong connector hold currently being poised, and there's the opening one from Gratisfaction. So establishes an immediate man advantage. It's doubled down by Jacob, who catches Crystal just through the slight edge of a wall. Smoke down, JKS emerges from the hole. Slowly but surely, Rogue are being picked apart piece by piece, player by player, and soon to be the bomb carrier on top of it, you'd think. But Gratisfaction actually gives up his back. Hiko, blinded and caught in the smoke, leads Rikke into what should be an absolute disaster. We've seen him in a lot of 1 versus 3 attempts, and this one not any easier. There you have it, folks. That is it. Renegades 6-0 in the season, 16-10 here on Mirage, dispatching of a team that we did think would be an even contender. And there were times where I thought we were neck and neck, but it's once we got towards the end of each of these maps that we watched those Aussies pull ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, 0-6 is one thing. 0-6 and you're out. 6-0, you've still got some work to do, but what a start for them.
Yeah.
They couldn't be happier. I'm sure the Org owners are also elated.
How's
Hey,
it
guys.
going, guys?
What's up? Feeling fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad considering Renegades did manage to close that one out again, and we got to see a little bit of glimmer of hope come out again from the Rogue side, but still not enough to get the job done.
JKS was a stud.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
He had massive impact in that first half.
Yeah, I thought Liaz was actually quite good too. A lot of good entries that played like very fundamentally smart.
Yeah, they were the opposite side of the spectrum. He was the one getting the early ones, and JKS was the one that was closing them out.
That's true. It's something that Connor pointed out while we're casting. That's all I had to add.
It sounded like you want to add some more to
Yeah,
that.
maybe there was
Landers.
something. Maybe if it wasn't 7 in the morning, we would have more.
Well, more like 8.
We're getting close. We're getting close to that point. But a good start for Renegades nonetheless, right? They've taken down 2 opponents already. They start the season off strong, and this is looking like a revitalized lineup that they've got some good hope for to actually challenge it to the top ends here. But I'm really intrigued now just to see how they do against the real big hitters here in the NA region.
Yeah, the warm-up is over, right? I mean, they've got a great 6-0 start for the season. And they've looked fresh. I mean, it's fun to see, for sure. I mean, they're not doing anything fancy. It's basic stuff. There's mid control on a map like Mirage, or just go for like basic executions. Get the basic smokes in, get the flashes in, and then just trade effectively. Then have a player like JKS here in Palace, good example. Just getting those kills in the end that will just be the last nails in the coffin.
And we're also seeing it's not just like one player leading the charge from the whole time, right? We're seeing the good teamwork come in. We're seeing individuals play to their positions well and just shine when needed and step up and deliver when required.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's really, really good to see. And that's the kind of thing that you want to see from a team like Renegades, you know.
Yeah.
They need to find that footing. It's been a long time coming. They've found this certain success, not enough. They want to take it to the next level, and it's obviously working out so far.
Now looking at Rogue, obviously there's only so far we can kind of look at them with this new lineup coming into play. Crystal having to play with the higher ping as well. But my only thing is that did they not take too much from what Cadian was able to put into the team? Because it just, I feel kind of sorry for them, the fact that they were on the rise and we see this potential come in and now they take this heavy hit. And I don't want this to kind of be, they take the hit and it kind of drops off from here. I'm hoping they can still rebuild upon this, given a little bit more time.
I think Crystal's going to be, in long run, obviously it's just early days for them with Crystal, but he's been through a lot of different European lineups. He's picked up a lot of different things from different players that have had even more experience than he has, and that have had or have done bigger things than he has in their careers. So that will definitely help. I think Rogue is on the right path, and it's not looking too shabby for them at all.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick look at the play of the day and see how things went down and what people decided when it comes to the NA moment. And oh yes, it would be this man after his incredible performance.
Yeah, it could have been any. There's a lot of rounds on overpass that they could have picked, but this is obviously a beautiful 3K with a deagle. That never gets old.
The thing that I liked most about it was just 3 different directions through the smoke. It's complete guesswork at times, but he reacted nice and fast, did cold zero things, and just makes it look easy, just one tapping away.
Yeah, but when I shoot with the deagle, it doesn't look that pretty. So it's fun to see when some people actually know how to shoot with it.
Well, if you want to use it, that's the way to look at it down. And here's your standings after today. So, as we saw, Ghost managing to take down NRG 2-0. Mainly Brazil doing the same to Luminosity and doing it in style when we got on to Mirage. Then, for Renegades, the series that we've just closed up on, looking strong, keeping that clean sweep. But on the secondary stream, we didn't get to see it ourselves, but Renegades did dispatch of Complexity overtime on the first map. Then our NRG played again, but they only traded 1 for 1, so they got 1 map, managed losing out on the second. Cloud9, though, a little bit tough again in United, kind of being their kryptonite here. 1 for 1 trading it out again, but not the start C9 would have wanted at all.
No, I mean, obviously early days for Cloud9 with Flusha in the lineup too. I mean, obviously, if you think of just the philosophy of the team, they've ever since Tarek and Stewie left the team, obviously it has been a bit of a guessing game of which direction do they want to go. Picking up Golden, obviously, it was kind of the takeaway from that is that they want to get more structured, and it'll take time for them to really get everything fine-tuned.
Now, Launders and Scrawny, just looking at the matches that are coming up for tomorrow, you guys are going to be very happy. We get some more Ghost action coming in there, on top of the opener of Cloud9 versus Made in Brazil. Now, Ghost versus E United. Just from looking at Ghost and what we've seen from E United already, I guess you're feeling pretty happy for your Canadian buddies.
Yeah, I'm feeling like we have 3 of the best teams in the league playing tomorrow, and I'm anticipating 3 2-0s as well if I have to, go on the record right now.
Well, who do you think is going to win? Do you think that
MIBR, Ghost.
You think Ghost 2-0?
And Liquid.
Really? I was going to say that U United probably be one of the more difficult teams to.
That's true. Stylistically, I do think that could be actually a difficult one for Ghost. That's a good point. I'm gonna retract ever slightly. Just slightly.
You went in hard, and then you went,
never know.
maybe not.
I feel like these are the 2 teams that are like the hardest for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really difficult one for I think anybody to figure out.
My suggestion is let's sleep on that and
let's sleep.
Let's just let's pass out on that.
That does sound like the plan, guys. It's been a long but exciting day nonetheless. And tomorrow we'll be back with more of the games that you saw on your screen. And don't forget, you can go over to esea.net and join in. And maybe you will be working your way through MDL and stuff and making your way onto Pro League to see us talk about you and how good or bad you may be. But tomorrow is another day and we'll see what NA delivers. Thank you for joining us, guys, and we'll see you then.